Most people think Henry Ford's story is about cars, but it's not. It's a story about patience, about failure, and about believing in an idea long before the world understands it. Henry Ford was not born powerful. He was a farm boy from rural America, far from money, influence, or opportunity. He failed again and again, lost businesses, faced rejection, and was told many times that his vision would never work. Yet quietly, without noise or hype, he reshaped modern life. He didn't just build a company. He changed how people work, how goods are made, and how ordinary families move through the world. This is not a story of overnight success. It's the story of a man who stayed patient when progress was slow, who stayed focused when others doubted, and who believed that innovation should serve everyone, not just the wealthy. Welcome to Success Avenue, where we explore real success stories built with purpose, resilience, and time. This is the life story of Henry Ford, a quiet revolution that changed the world. Chapter 1. Born far from power. Henry Ford was born far from power, wealth, or influence. He was born in rural Michigan, surrounded by open fields, dirt roads, and quiet days. His family lived on a farm where life followed the rhythm of the seasons. Mornings began early, work was hard, and progress was slow. There was no luxury in his childhood, no extra money, no connections, just land, labor, and routine. From a young age, Henry was expected to work the farm like everyone else. He plowed fields, cared for animals, and followed instructions. But inside, he felt different. While others accepted farm life as their future, Henry felt restless. The work didn't excite him. The repetition didn't satisfy him. He felt like something else was waiting beyond the fields, even if he couldn't explain what it was. That feeling made him feel alone. He didn't fit in easily. He wasn't drawn to the same goals as those around him. While others focused on crops and weather, Henry's attention drifted to tools, machines, and anything that moved. He was curious about how things worked. Broken tools didn't frustrate him, they fascinated him. He wanted to understand why something failed and how it could be fixed. When he saw a machine, he didn't just see its use, he saw its parts, its movement, its potential. This curiosity set him apart. In a place where life rarely changed, Henry was already imagining change. He didn't talk much about his thoughts, he kept them to himself. But quietly, his mind was learning, observing, and questioning. Growing up on a farm taught him discipline. It taught him patience, and it taught him the value of hard work. But it also showed him something else, that big ideas don't always come from big cities. Sometimes they begin in silence. Sometimes they grow in small places, far from power, but close to purpose. Chapter 2. Fascinated by machines. As Henry Ford grew older, his curiosity grew stronger. While others spent their free time resting or socializing, Henry was drawn to machines. Anything with moving parts caught his attention. Tools, engines, gears, springs. He didn't just want to use them, he wanted to understand them. One of the first signs of this obsession appeared when he began fixing watches. People would hand him broken timepieces, expecting nothing. Henry would carefully take them apart, study every small piece, and put them back together. Most of the time, they worked again. This wasn't about money, it was about learning. Each watch taught him something new, how small parts depend on each other, how one tiny mistake can stop the entire system, how precision matters. Soon, watches were not enough. Henry became fascinated with engines and mechanical devices. When something broke, he didn't see failure. He saw a question waiting for an answer. How does this work? Why did it stop? How can it be improved? This curiosity began to shape his choices. Farm life offered comfort through familiarity. It was predictable, safe, expected, but Henry chose learning over comfort. He spent long hours experimenting, reading, and observing. He learned through trial and error, often failing before finding the solution. These failures didn't discourage him. They sharpened his focus. Still, this path made him different. He didn't fit the traditional expectations of his family or community. Many around him believed the farm was enough, that this was life. Henry believed there was more. not because he wanted to escape work, but because he wanted to understand progress. He wasn't chasing success yet. He was chasing knowledge. And slowly, quietly, that obsession was shaping his destiny. Because curiosity, when followed with discipline, doesn't just change what you know, it changes who you become. Chapter 3. Leaving the farm. Leaving the farm was not an easy decision. The land was familiar. The routine was safe. Everything Henry had ever known was there. But safety was no longer enough. Deep inside, Henry felt a pull towards something unknown. Machines were no longer just a curiosity. They had become his purpose, and that purpose could not be fulfilled on a quiet farm. So he made a choice. He left rural life behind and moved to the city. The city was loud, busy, unforgiving. Nothing about it felt comfortable. Henry took mechanical jobs wherever he could find them. The work was hard. The hours were long. The pay was low. Many days he was exhausted before the sun went down. But every job taught him something new. He learned how machines were built in real factories, how systems worked under pressure, how small improvements could save time and effort. These lessons did not come from books. They came from experience. Still, doubt followed him everywhere. People questioned his decision. Why leave a stable life? Why struggle for so little money? Why chase machines instead of certainty? Some believed he was wasting his time. Even Henry felt uncertainty at times. There were nights when exhaustion turned into doubt. Moments when the future felt unclear and the risk felt heavy, but he kept going because every difficult day made him stronger. Every long hour sharpened his skill. Every doubt tested his determination. Henry understood something important. Growth does not begin in comfort. It begins when you step into the unknown. When you choose learning over ease, when you move forward even without guarantees. The farm had given him roots, but the city was giving him direction. And although the path ahead was uncertain, Henry Ford was no longer afraid of discomfort because discomfort meant progress. Chapter 4. Failure comes first. Success did not come quickly. Before the world knew his name, Henry Ford faced failure again and again. His first business ideas showed promise. People believed in his vision. Money was invested. Expectations were high, but the results did not match the hope. His early companies collapsed. Costs rose faster than profits. Production moved too slowly. Mistakes added up. Each failure hit hard. Financial pressure followed him everywhere. Bills piled up. Investors lost patience. Trust began to fade. Every setback made the future feel more uncertain. Public criticism grew louder. Some said Henry lacked business sense. Others believed he dreamed too big. Many thought he should quit and find stable work. The pressure was crushing. There were moments when Henry nearly gave up, when exhaustion turned into doubt, when continuing felt harder than quitting. But failure taught him something powerful. He realized that vision alone was not enough. Ideas had to be practical. Systems had to be efficient. Every mistake revealed a lesson. Failure became his classroom. He studied what went wrong. He learned how to manage people. He understood the importance of timing. He saw that speed and simplicity mattered. Instead of running from failure, he examined it. Each collapse stripped away what did not work and left behind what did. His confidence did not disappear. It changed. It became quieter, stronger, and more grounded. Henry Ford was not failing forward by accident. He was learning, because failure is not the opposite of success. It is education in disguise. And those hard lessons were preparing him for something far bigger than he imagined. Chapter 5. The vision no one believed in. Henry Ford carried a dream that most people could not understand. At that time, cars were rare. They were expensive, fragile machines made only for the rich. Most people believed automobiles would always remain a luxury. Henry believed the opposite. He imagined a simple, strong car, a car that ordinary workers could afford, a car built for everyday life, not status. To him, cars were not toys for the wealthy. They were tools for freedom. He shared this vision with investors. They did not listen. Many rejected him outright. Others laughed quietly. Some said the idea made no business sense. They believed cheap cars would reduce profit. They thought ordinary people did not need automobiles. Henry was underestimated again. Investors wanted fast returns. Henry wanted long-term change. Their goals did not match. The rejections were painful. Without funding, progress slowed. Doubt returned. Isolation grew heavier. There were days when it felt like he was standing alone against the world, but his belief did not break. Henry trusted what he saw. He knew how machines could be simplified. He understood how mass production could reduce costs. He believed efficiency could unlock access. Even when others walked away, he stayed. He worked quietly. He refined his ideas. He improved designs. He waited. Belief became his anchor. He did not chase approval. He chased clarity. Validation did not come from others. It came from his understanding of the problem. History often begins this way. A vision appears before the world is ready. A belief exists before proof. An idea stands alone before it spreads. Henry Ford held onto his vision, even when no one believed in it, because vision always comes before validation. And soon, the world would have no choice but to see what he saw. Chapter 6. Building the Ford Motor Company. After years of failure and rejection, Henry Ford did not rush his next step. He waited. This time, he wanted more than money. He wanted the right support, people who believed in the long journey, not quick success. In 1903, that moment finally arrived. With a small group of investors who trusted his vision, Henry founded the Ford Motor Company. It was not a grand beginning. There were no big buildings, no loud announcements, no certainty, just belief, effort, and patience. The struggles did not end. Money was still limited. Every decision mattered. One mistake could end everything again. Early cars faced problems. Parts failed. Production was slow. Each vehicle required careful work. Progress came in small wins. A car that ran better than the last. A design that cost less to build. A customer who believed and returned. These moments were quiet but powerful. Henry stayed deeply involved. He worked alongside his team. He tested machines. He fixed problems with his own hands. Leadership to him meant responsibility, not distance. Growth was slow, but steady. Instead of chasing fast expansion, Henry focused on improvement. Each day was about learning. Each challenge became a lesson. Each setback strengthened the foundation. Hope began to grow, not loud hope, not confident pride, but calm belief. The company was still fragile, but it was alive. Henry understood something important. Real success is not sudden. It is built step by step through patience, discipline, and trust in the process. The Ford Motor Company was not yet famous, but it was becoming strong. And strength, once built, is hard to stop. Chapter 7. Reinventing work itself. The assembly line. Henry Ford did not just want to build cars, he wanted to change how they were built. At the time, making a car was slow and costly. Skilled workers built one vehicle at a time. Each car took many hours. This made cars expensive, meant only for the rich. Henry believed this system was broken, so he asked a simple question: what if the work moved instead of the worker? This idea changed everything. In 1913, Ford introduced the moving assembly line. Instead of one worker building an entire car, the job was divided into small steps. Each worker focused on a single task. The car moved along a line, stopping at each station. The results were shocking. What once took more than 12 hours now took less than 2 hours. Production became faster. Mistakes decreased. Costs dropped. Cars became affordable for everyday people, not just the wealthy. But this was more than a business improvement. It was a system change. Factories around the world watched closely. Other industries began copying the idea. From food to furniture, from machines to electronics, manufacturing was never the same again. The assembly line did not just create cars. It created scale. It created access. It created a new way of thinking. Henry Ford proved that innovation is not always about new products. Sometimes, the real breakthrough is changing the process behind them. This moment reshaped modern work. not with noise, not with hype, but with clarity and bold thinking. True innovation does not just improve results, it changes systems. Chapter 8: Success with Responsibility. As the company grew, Henry Ford faced a new question. Success was no longer just about machines or speed, it was about people. Factory work at the time was harsh. Long hours, low pay, high turnover. Workers came and left quickly, exhausted by the pressure of assembly line labor. Henry saw a problem others ignored. He believed that a strong company needed stable workers, not tired ones. So in 1914, he made a decision that shocked the world. He introduced the $5 a day wage, more than double the average pay at the time. Business leaders laughed. Critics said he was crazy. They believed higher wages would destroy profits. But Henry had a deeper understanding. Well-paid workers were loyal. Loyal workers worked better. Better work meant better products. And it worked. Turnover dropped sharply. Productivity increased. Workers took pride in their jobs. Many of them could now afford the very cars they were building. This was not charity, it was respect. Henry Ford believed that workers were not tools. They were partners in success. When people felt valued, they gave their best. Factories became more stable. Families became more secure. Communities grew stronger. For Henry, success came with responsibility. A business that grows while its people suffer is not strong, it is fragile. By putting people first, Ford proved something powerful. Machines build products, but people build companies. And when people are respected, success becomes sustainable. Chapter 9: Power, Control, and Mistakes. As Henry Ford's influence grew, so did his need for control. He had built a powerful system. He trusted his instincts deeply, sometimes too deeply. Henry believed he knew what was best for his company, for his workers, and for the future of industry. This confidence had helped him rise, but now it began to create problems. He resisted change. While others improved designs and introduced new styles, Ford stayed focused on the Model T. He believed simplicity was enough. For years, he refused to update it. Even as customer tastes evolved, competition grew stronger. Inside the company, Henry demanded loyalty. Decisions often flowed from him alone. Different ideas were not always welcomed. This created tension among leaders and workers alike. Henry Ford was not an easy man to challenge. He also held personal beliefs that later drew criticism. Some of his views were narrow and deeply flawed. These mistakes damaged his reputation and reminded the world that success does not make a person perfect. This chapter of his life shows a hard truth. Great leaders can still struggle with ego. Strong vision can turn into stubbornness. Power can blind even the most brilliant minds. Yet these flaws do not erase his impact. They humanize him. Henry Ford was not a hero without shadows. He was a complex man, capable of great progress and serious mistakes. And in that complexity lies an important lesson. Leadership is not about perfection. It is about learning, adapting, and accepting limits. Even the men who change the world are still human. Chapter 10: Facing change and competition. Time does not stop for success. As the world moved forward, new car companies began to rise. They listened closely to customers. They offered more choices, better designs, and new ideas. Competition became real. Henry Ford felt the pressure. For years, the Model T had ruled the roads, but people now wanted more comfort, more style, and more variety. Other companies adapted quickly. Ford was slower to change. Sales began to fall. This was a difficult moment for Henry. The system he had created was strong, but the world around it had changed. What once made Ford unbeatable now made it vulnerable. Eventually, the lesson became clear. Even the greatest ideas must evolve. Ford Motor Company finally introduced new models. New leadership voices gained influence. The company adjusted, not easily, but necessarily. For Henry Ford, this period was humbling. He learned that past success does not protect the future, that innovation is not a one-time event, that listening matters as much as leading. This chapter reminds us of a powerful truth. Markets change, people change, the world changes, and success survives only when it learns to change too. Adaptation is not weakness, it is wisdom earned through pressure. Chapter 11. Legacy Beyond Cars. Henry Ford's greatest impact did not end with automobiles. It reached far beyond factories and roads. By making cars affordable, he changed how people lived. Cities expanded, suburbs were born, families could travel, work farther from home, and explore the world with freedom they never had before. Roads were built, highways connected nations, entire industries grew around transportation, fuel, repair, logistics, and travel. Work culture changed too. The assembly line shaped modern jobs. Efficiency, specialization, and scale became the foundation of industry. What started in one factory influenced workplaces across the globe. Even daily life shifted. Time became structured. Mobility became normal. Opportunity became closer. Henry Ford did not just build a company. He reshaped society, and while his name is tied to cars, his real legacy is movement of people, ideas, and progress. Generations later, the world still runs on systems he helped create. This is the power of true legacy. It does not fade with time. It grows through impact. A founder may pass, a company may change, but the ideas that reshape the world live on, and that is how influence becomes history. Chapter 12. Redefining Success. Henry Ford's life offers more than a business lesson. It offers a way to think about success. He did not chase praise. He did not build for applause. He built for impact. Ford believed success was not about luxury or status. It was about solving real problems for real people at a scale that mattered. He thought long term. Instead of quick profits, he focused on systems. Instead of short wins, he focused on access. Instead of serving a few, he served millions. This mindset changed everything. His factories were not perfect. His ideas were not flawless, but his purpose was clear: to make life easier, work better, and opportunity wider. In today's world of fast fame and instant results, Ford's story reminds us of something important. Real success takes time. Real value lasts longer than attention. Real leadership serves others, not ego. Success is not how high you rise alone. It is how many lives you lift along the way. That is success at scale, and that is the kind of success that never truly ends. Lessons for you. Henry Ford's journey is not just history. It is a message for you. He began with nothing special, no power, no money, no guarantees. He failed more times than most people ever see. Businesses collapsed. Ideas were rejected. People doubted him openly. Yet he continued. Ford teaches us that failure is not the end of the road. It is part of the path forward. Every mistake shaped his thinking. Every loss sharpened his vision. He also shows that patience beats raw talent. Many people are talented, few are patient. Henry kept going when progress was slow and rewards were distant. And above all, his life proves that persistence matters. Not loud confidence, not quick wins, but quiet consistency. If you feel behind, unsure, or underestimated, remember this: your beginning does not define your ending. Big ideas can grow from small places. Long journeys start with uncertain steps. What matters is that you keep moving forward, because the world is changed not by those who start strong, but by those who do not stop. Henry Ford did not change the world with noise. He did it with patience, with belief, with work that spoke louder than words. From a small farm to a global impact, his life reminds us that real change does not always announce itself. Sometimes it grows quietly, one idea, one failure, one step at a time. If this story stayed with you, remember this: you don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need approval to move forward. You just need purpose and persistence. At Success Avenue, we believe that true success is built slowly, honestly, and with meaning. We share stories not to impress, but to inspire. If this journey gave you clarity, strength, or hope, stay with us. More real stories, more real lessons, one step closer to your own path. Because quiet revolutions changed the world, and your story is still being written.